Hello, cats and kitties. We are here in black and white. What does that mean? That means that's right. We're going to do a true crime video. Got my sexy glasses on here so that I can read from my notes for you. This is going to be an interesting one. This one is going to do a little twisting and turning. You think you're going to know what it is, and then boom, it's going to go off in another direction. So, where are we going? We are going to Florida. Yes, I know. You're thinking about all those memes and all those articles that start with a Florida man and then something crazy ensues. Well, this time we're going to start with a Florida woman. Yes, her name is Danielle Redlick, and she is in Winter Haven, Florida. At the time of the incident, she is going to be 45 years old, and we're going to start this off with her 911 call, and she's going to call 911 and report that her husband is laying there stiff and might have had a heart attack. So the dispatcher needs a little bit more information than that, and so she starts talking to Danielle, and all of a sudden Danielle says, well, we had an altercation and he stabbed himself. And at this point, the dispatcher's like, okay, so he's stiff and you think he's dead. Is he dead from the heart attack or is he dead from the self-inflicted stab wound? To which Danielle replies, and she's sniffling as she speaks, she's crying. She said, I don't know. She said there was an altercation and he stabbed himself, and she tried to help him, but she saw so much blood that she ran into the bathroom and she just didn't know what to do at that point. So in answer to the dispatcher's question, though, she said that she thought that the stabbing might have triggered the heart attack. Well, yeah. I mean, a stabbing could trigger a lot of things, like a heart attack or, bleeding to death. So, yeah, let's learn a little bit more about the victim here. Michael Redlick. Michael Redlick was age 65 when this incident happened. So he died at age 65, and he and Danielle had been married for 17 years and had 2 children, school-age children. So there's a little bit interesting thing behind the marriage. Originally, Michael had been Danielle's stepfather. Now, before you get too squicked out about that and think it's too icky, he married Danielle's mother, allegedly, this is what friends said, because she had cancer. She did not have health insurance. Michael had very good health insurance, and he married her so that she could benefit from his health insurance. And so it wasn't so much a love match as it was a financial arrangement. And during that time, he and Danielle began to fall in love. And when her mother, Kathy, her mother's name was Kathy, when she died, they kind of started seeing each other. And that was in, I believe, 1999 was when she died. They didn't get married for a few years after that, though. So they didn't get married until 2002. Now, Michael was a successful man. He had formerly been, let me find it. He, at the time, of his death, was an executive at the University of Central Florida. But before that, he had worked in administrative sales for the NBA's Memphis Grizzlies, who are based in my home state of Tennessee. Yay! All right, not a Grizzlies fan, just thought I'd say that. Not really a basketball fan in general, but moving on. The couple lived in a very nice house in Winter Haven. And here it is. There's their nice house. Kind of got a little Spanish motif going there. But yeah, nice place. And I'll give you a picture of Michael and Danielle. There's Danielle. My daughter said she doesn't look too happy. I said that's probably her mugshot, and she's probably not too happy. And here is Michael, looking a lot better than he did the day of January 11th, 2019, which is when he supposedly stabbed himself and it triggered a heart attack. So there you go. There's Michael. When police arrived at the house, they encountered a really bloody scene. They found Michael dead on the floor near the front entrance. They found bloody towels all around him and a trail of blood back to the master bath or bedroom. And one officer noted particularly that he smelled bleach. So somebody had tried to do some sort of cleaning up and some sort of staging for this to sort of look like he was trying to run out the door, make it out the door after stabbing himself. So Michael's body, unsurprisingly, was sent for an autopsy. And the ME determined that his death was indeed a homicide. He determined that he had wounds that indicated that he had tried to fight back. He had defensive wounds. And also, the angle and the manner in which the stabbing had taken place made it look or appear that he had not stabbed himself, that he had been stabbed. So, 3 weeks after Michael's death, Danielle gets arrested and charged with second-degree murder and also tampering with physical evidence. And I think they went with second degree because there wasn't a whole lot of, this looked like kind of a frenzied thing and an unplanned thing. There wasn't a whole lot to suggest that she had been planning this for 2 or 3 weeks. There's more a suggestion of just, boom, it just happened. So second degree, she did intend for him to die, which is why it's murder, but they're saying second degree murder. Now, in investigating the death, police believe that Danielle waited 11 hours after the stabbing to call 911. So, more than enough time for him to bleed out and more than enough time for him to get stiff. I mean, if she had called right after the stabbing took place, he would not have been stiff. And that's one of the first things she said. He's stiff. So, also, the police alleged that Danielle had been perusing a dating app, swiping through a dating app and checking messages on the dating app, which would suggest that she had an account on the dating app. So, interesting. In talking to friends of the couple, friends said that Michael said that Danielle was allegedly violent, that their marriage was rocky, and then Michael said, quote, "As long as I hide the steak knives, everything will be fine." So yeah, friends are actually saying, this apparently was not the best marriage in the entire world. They were together, they had kids, but Michael was telling people that Danielle was violent, and they probably thought that he was kidding when he said as long as he hid the steak knives. Now, Danielle, after she was arrested, had a lot to say about her marriage. She said that Michael had cheated on her twice. She said that they had separated, but they had decided to get back together. I don't know if that was for the children or if they just really wanted to try to work it out. But anyway, they did get back together. And that one day, Michael, while going through her phone, and there's a red flag, but Michael, going through her phone, found some messages from another man that were flirtatious in nature. And he got really, really upset about it. And so they had an altercation that day. They had an argument on January the 11th. And apparently, Danielle was eating a McDonald's hamburger. Michael came, took it from her, took a bite, and spat it in her face, according to her. He then jerked her up and pressed her against the countertop in the kitchen and was trying to choke her. So she thought that her life was in danger, so she grabbed a kitchen knife, and then she said that he grabbed it from her and stabbed himself. And that she then ran away from him and locked herself in the bathroom. Well, that was problematic because the medical examiner had already said that he was pretty certain that Michael had not stabbed himself and he had defensive wounds on him. So Danielle was held without bond. She pleaded not guilty. And she pleaded not guilty because she said, obviously, she's going to use the self-defense defense. And so a 6-member jury was sworn in and the trial began. Now, I'm not sure why it was 6 versus 12, and I don't really know the legalities of that. If you do know the legalities of that and you would like to chime in down below in comments, I would be interested in why it was 6 and not 12. In fact, they didn't even talk about alternates. So I don't know. Maybe there were 12 and 6 of them were alternates. I have no idea. So I bet you're thinking right now at about this time, it's not looking good for Danielle. Danielle has lied about him stabbing himself. She waited a long time before she called 911. Police say that she looked through a dating app. Even her story about Michael getting upset involves her having flirtatious messages on her phone. So it's not looking good for Danielle, and yet, about 1 week ago, this time, right now, in June of 2022, about a week and a half ago, Danielle was found not guilty of second-degree murder. Not guilty. This means due to double jeopardy, she cannot be found guilty again. So she's not guilty of murder, but she is guilty of tampering with evidence. So she will have a sentencing about, whether or not she tampered with evidence. Well, actually, she'll be sentenced because they have determined she tampered with evidence, but she hasn't had her sentencing for that yet. Here is where things begin to turn in this trial. If you're wondering how in the world we got here, is that friends for Danielle testified that they had seen her with suspicious injuries. Just frequently, she would have injuries that she didn't or couldn't explain. And one day when she came to pick her son up from playing with friends, she had a black eye. These friends also said that Michael was aggressive and that they firmly believed that she was a victim of domestic violence. So, yeah, she did stab him. And it was pretty much agreed by everybody that he did not stab himself. She stabbed him. But her self-defense, which everybody, on the prosecution side thought that was a pretty weak story. But the jury, when they heard that her friends could testify to her having injuries and to her having a black eye and to Michael being aggressive, and also Michael was quite a bit older than her, Michael's been checking her phone. That was another red flag. Not a lot of trust there if your spouse is going around checking your phone. So the defense was able to make a plausible argument for domestic violence, a plausible argument for the fact that Danielle thought that her life was in danger at the time, and so she took this knife and stabbed him with it in self-defense because he had been choking her. So I really don't know. There are so many things that make the scale go back and forth in this. There's she waited 11 hours to call 911. There's the dating app perusal, which was kind of strange. There's the tampering with evidence so that the scene looks different than it really was. But then there's the black eye, the suspicious injuries, her friends testifying that, that Michael was aggressive, and she said Michael was aggressive. And so is she a victim of domestic abuse and was trying to save her life? Or has she pulled the wool over everyone's eyes and gotten out of a 17-year marriage from a guy 20 years older than her that she maybe didn't want to be in anymore because she's gone dating apps, and just wanted to get out with her 2 children? So, and it's the children really that I feel bad for at this point. I don't know if she's going to go to jail for the tampering with evidence. That sentencing had not been handed down yet. I kind of doubt it. I kind of doubt that she's, I think we're probably looking at some probation or something like that. But their dad is gone. And even though their mother has been found not guilty, she's been dragged through the mud. There's been a big brouhaha, and I'm sure that I'm sure the kids have had to deal with a lot of attention that they didn't necessarily want. So, but yeah, this one, when I first started researching this case, the jury had not reached a verdict yet. And so when I went to go look up, I thought, I'm going to look up verdict and see if it's happened. And then I found out it had happened within the last, 10 days or so, and then found out that she was innocent. I was really shocked until I read more into more of the testimony that actually happened at the trial. I still don't know. I got to be honest with you. I could argue either side of this case, but I would really, really like to know what you think. If you think that she was defending herself, or if you think that she got away literally with murder. All right, guys, this is a short one, but I have a longer one coming for you that I've already started researching. Yes, it's back in my neck of the woods, but hey, what can I say? We're entertaining around here. We do some weird stuff. So I hope that you guys are doing well, and I hope that you're staying safe. The next video will not be true crime. The next video is going to be a giant Bath and Body haul, because they just had their semi-annual sale. So it's going to be an ASMR Bath and Body haul, and I hope that you guys will enjoy it. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.